Is there a perfect supplement regime for people who have PCOS? In today's video, we're going to talk all about supplementation, nutrients, minerals, and what I think is the most important thing that we want to be getting in our diet when we have PCOS. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Jessica Ash, and I'm a clinical and functional nutritionist that specializes in hormones and metabolism in relationship with the female body. I love to educate you guys to understand your body on a deeper level so you can see through the BS that is so prevalent in the world today, in the diet industry and the health and wellness industry. And I want you to become more empowered so you can make decisions about your body and have them have lasting health benefits rather than just make you feel better for the next couple of months. No more quick fixes and all about sustainable lifestyle changes. In today's video, we're going to talk about supplements and PCOS. Now, I want to preface this by saying that this is probably not the video that you are looking for if you just want to be told to take X, Y, and Z, because everyone's going to have a different opinion on what women with PCOS should be taking. However, I want to encourage you to maybe look at it in an alternative way and to see supplementation and getting nutrients in your diet as a way of life rather than kind of like a quick fix. Because let's be honest, no supplement is going to fix PCOS or cure PCOS in the way that you're looking for. And so being real with that, what's more important than supplementing for PCOS? It's actually supplementing for healthy cells so that our cells can use sugar better, use energy better, and create that cell energy ATP so that all of our organs work better and all of our bodily systems work better. I like to look at supplementation as a way, like kind of a bridge to get us to where we want to go quicker, because of course the foundation is always getting nutrition from our food. And if you haven't checked out my previous PCOS videos yet, I highly recommend watching those first, because as you guys know, I always take a food first approach. If we're not laying the foundations with our nutrition and our lifestyle, supplements are not really going to make a big difference. But I am all about things that are going to get us to where we want to go quicker, and there are some supplements that can be amazing tools to get us to where we want to go. Our goal with supplements is to provide our body with the nutrients it needs to use sugar better, provide our cells with the nutrients they need to make hormones and respond to hormones better, and provide the nutrients that our body needs to detoxify better, to get those toxins and those waste products that are really bogging down our body out quicker and more efficiently. That's kind of my goals regarding supplementation. And my mindset is when you lay the foundation to a healthy body, of course, the body is going to respond in kind. So by far, I prefer to get nutrients from food. I think it's a much better option because our body is actually designed to respond to the nutrients in foods better. You'll really rarely ever find an isolated nutrient in nature. It always kind of comes with its cofactors. For example, you know, when you eat something with zinc, it often has copper, it often has iron, and it often has the B vitamins needed to use that zinc. And so when we make it a point to get our nutrients from food, we don't have to worry about like, oh no, are we getting the cofactors for this, or are we absorbing this nutrient? Our body is getting it from a source that is being provided in a perfect package by nature. So 3 of my favorite nutrient-dense foods that I don't think anyone should live without if they don't have to are liver, oysters, and orange juice. Now you guys are probably like, that's so random, and also ew, liver, ew, oysters, like orange juice, wait, what? But the thing about these 3 foods is that they provide an abundance of nutrients, an abundance of vitamins and minerals that's really hard to replicate from other foods. Liver provides tons and tons of bioavailable copper, which is so important for all energy production in every single cell in the body. It also has zinc, bioavailable iron, and tons of B vitamins, which our liver likes to use up when it's detoxifying things like estrogen. Oysters are specifically very rich in zinc, but they also have a lot of copper and a ton of B12. There's some B vitamins in there as well. It's very difficult to replicate the amount of zinc in those oysters, and I prefer consuming oysters 1 time per week for my zinc rather than taking some synthetic zinc in a supplement form. I just think that nature provides things in such a perfect package. And then you're probably like, what the heck, orange juice? Well, remember that Whole Foods vitamin C not only contains copper, but is so amazing for our body as a whole. Our body burns through vitamin C very quickly under stress. Our adrenals have an affinity for vitamin C and also minerals. And orange juice is specifically rich in potassium. It has other minerals, of course, but potassium really helps the cells respond to sugar. Potassium is almost as important as insulin when allowing blood sugar into the cells. And so this is often an overlooked nutrient when women have PCOS, is they're kind of, concerned with berberine and Ovocitol and all these supplements that are being thrown at them, that they're forgetting that the body has basic needs, basic nutrition needs that are often depleted or just straight up deficient. And this is why the body, it has ceased to function how it's supposed to. So when we're trying to restore balance to the body and balance to hormones, we need to replenish the nutrients that have been lost while under stress, while struggling with blood sugar imbalances, while struggling with inflammation, while struggling with gut issues. These are often nutrients that need to be replenished, not just for PCOS, but just in general, life in general. They're very important nutrients for everybody, but specifically when we're struggling with imbalances. So I make sure to get the equivalent of 4 to 6 ounces of beef liver per week, whether that's fresh liver or put into my ground beef or in a desiccated liver supplement form like Ancestral Supplements. I also really prefer to get oysters in their fresh form. I'll either, eat them raw or steam them. It's also pretty easy to find them smoked as long as they're packed in olive oil and not a polyunsaturated fat like canola oil. You can also find desiccated oyster supplements in some cases, but it's always better to get the fresh real thing. And then for orange juice, I'm just looking for the best quality I can find. Some things that you want to avoid are pulp dissolvers. A lot of times orange juice companies will use pulp dissolvers when they are producing orange juice, and so this can often be very irritating to the body. They're chemical pulp dissolvers, and so sometimes people will drink orange juice and be like, oh, it hurts my stomach, or it's very acidic, and it's oftentimes because they're using chemicals to dissolve the pulp. Pulp in itself can be irritating to the digestive tract, so it's best to look for pulp-free. Just make sure that they're removing the pulp and they're not using those pulp dissolvers. But fresh orange juice can be an amazing source of nutrients, minerals, and that bioavailable copper that we so desperately need. Not to mention fructose and some really high quality sugar that we can use. I love to sip on it during a workout. So now that we've gone over those food-based nutrients that I love to get regularly, I want to really highlight the importance of minerals for PCOS. All minerals are important, like our first 4 level minerals, calcium, magnesium, sodium, and potassium, but specifically I want to highlight magnesium and potassium, which help us use thyroid hormone better, which can help us regulate our blood sugar. A lot of women are deficient in both magnesium and potassium because we go through these so quickly under stress. It's called our burn rate, and many women who have PCOS are stressed. They either have that high DHEA or high cortisol. They have high stress hormones. Their body is trying to respond to the stressors it's experiencing, and so it's burning through these minerals often faster than we can replenish them. And so potassium is often found in fruits. Specifically, coconut water can be a very, very high source of potassium. I love to supplement coconut water powder and drink plenty of coconut water. I also, like I said before, love to implement orange juice and just lots of fruit in general to get potassium. Things like potatoes, bananas can be great sources, as well as milk. Milk can be a wonderful source of all minerals, including potassium. Magnesium is a little bit trickier and harder to supplement. The better our thyroid function, the easier it is for our body to hang on to magnesium, but oftentimes people need to supplement in order to get enough. My favorite 4 forms of magnesium are going to be magnesium glycinate and magnesium malate, which are both tend to be found in like supplemental capsule forms. I also like magnesium bicarbonate, and I think that this is an important form of magnesium to get into the diet regardless of if you're supplementing those other forms, because our body doesn't store bicarbonate. We utilize bicarbonate every day. It's very important for the digestive process and many other processes in the body. And so magnesium bicarbonate specifically can be very, very beneficial, as well as topical magnesium, which is usually in the form of magnesium chloride. Because it's so hard to get enough magnesium often, I like to supplement it in multiple different forms to kind of spread it out amongst the different forms rather than supplementing it all in one form, just because it can be really hard on the digestive tract to take all of that internally. And because we're often burning through it so much faster than we can intake it, it can be helpful to spread it out. But magnesium is very helpful for helping us to respond to blood sugar better, utilizing blood sugar in the cells, so just balancing blood sugar as a whole, helping us sleep at night, making magnesium, detoxification of estrogen, the list goes on and on. So magnesium and potassium, very important, but all minerals are. Copper is another one that I want to highlight because so many women are not getting enough of this bioavailable copper that's found in whole foods vitamin C, grass-fed beef liver, and we're being exposed to a lot of non-bioavailable copper that can store up in our tissues, things from copper pipes or the copper IUD, and this can cause an imbalance of estrogen in the body. This can also react negatively with the iron stored in the body, so we really want to make sure we're getting plenty of bioavailable copper. And that's why I love to integrate things like grass-fed beef liver and orange juice into my diet so regularly. Now, moving on from minerals, I want to highlight a very specific fat-soluble vitamin that I think is very underrated. A lot of people think that this is a very non-sexy vitamin, but I agree to disagree. I love vitamin K, specifically vitamin K2 in both the MK4 and the MK7 forms, but vitamin K2 in general. And unless we've grown up on a very traditionally focused diet that includes lots of high quality dairy, things like ghee and butter and milk and eggs, oftentimes we're deficient. Now, our gut bacteria will manufacture vitamin K for us if we have really good digestive function and we've got lots of balance in our digestive tract, but a majority of people nowadays do not. And so therefore our needs for vitamin K go up, especially if we have digestive issues. So vitamin K helps regulate calcium in the body, and calcium plays an important role in all cells. This includes, the cells of our ovaries, the cells of our breasts, all of our tissues. And if calcium is getting into our soft tissues where it doesn't belong, it can start to cause a lot of problems. We want it to be where it belongs, which is the bones and the teeth. We don't want it to be concentrating in high amounts in our soft tissue. And so vitamin K helps regulate this process and works together with vitamin D, which is really a hormone, not a vitamin, but we won't go into that today. But vitamin K is so important, and many women find that getting enough vitamin K in their diet or even possibly supplementing with it if their doctor says it's okay can really help regulate their androgen levels or their androgenic symptoms that are so often experienced with PCOS. So I think that vitamin K is a very important nutrient that we need to evaluate in our diet if we're not getting vitamin K2 in our diet. So nutrition-wise, it's very easy to get vitamin K2 from dairy products, specifically things like ghee and grass-fed butter or butter oil. I also like a few vitamin K2 supplements on the market. My two favorites are going to be MitoLife and Enovix. I really like those two brands as of now. Make sure if you're supplementing, you guys, as a reminder, talk about it with your doctor, make sure it's right for you, and always, always, always make sure you're checking with the right people before implementing supplements into your life. Another fat-soluble vitamin that I just really want to highlight is vitamin E. Now, vitamin E plays such an important role in really detoxification, detoxification of estrogen specifically, and helping the body break down fats, in the process of lipid peroxidation. But the higher amount of polyunsaturated fats in the diet, the higher our needs for vitamin E are. And many of us grew up on a standard American diet that was full of canola oil and soybean oil. And every time we ate those foods, it depleted us of vitamin E. Because here's the deal. In nature, when we eat, like, let's say a nut that hasn't been roasted or processed at all, it contains vitamin E to protect us from the fats in that food. However, a lot of us consumed lots and lots of concentrated polyunsaturated fats growing up, sometimes into our adulthood. And so what's happening is our body has a high need for vitamin E. I really love the work of Dr. William Shute. He's done some amazing work on vitamin E, showing that vitamin E can be helpful in all types of conditions, from heart issues to infertility to hormone issues to estrogen dominance to hypothyroidism. It's kind of like this forgotten nutrient that can play a very, very helpful role in helping us balance our body out. And so vitamin E can be really hard to find in foods that don't contain polyunsaturated fats. And in a perfect world, that wouldn't matter. Consuming some wheat germ oil here or there would not be a problem. But a lot of us are just overloaded with PUFAs, overloaded with these polyunsaturated fatty acids because we've consumed such high concentrated amounts of them. And so I think that supplementing vitamin E is usually the way to go. Red palm oil can sometimes be a really good source of vitamin E, but it does contain a high amount of beta carotene. So for some people that can be problematic and turn their hands and feet orange if they're hypothyroid and can't convert the beta carotene into retinol very well. So I really like Mitolife's PUFA Protect. I also really like Swanson's Real Food E as supplements, as well as Life Extensions, Gamma E, and Thorne's Ultimate E. So there's a few different options on the market. We're just looking for non-synthetic, so we want it to be natural vitamin E, and usually that's going to be derived from sunflower or soybean. That's usually where they derive them from. So we want to be looking for non-synthetic or natural vitamin E. Again, making sure you're checking with your doctor and making sure that that is right for you. Remember guys, this is just for education and is not a personal recommendation. The last thing I want to bring to your awareness is vitamin C. A lot of people are consuming vitamin C in the form of ascorbic acid, which is a synthetic form of vitamin C, usually derived from GMO corn. And I think that whole foods vitamin C is the way to go. Now, this can be found in lots of fruits, things like cherries and oranges and citrus and, all types of natural foods. But oftentimes we can't consume enough of these foods to get plenty of vitamin C or the amount of vitamin C we're looking for. And this is where these kind of vitamin C superfoods can really come in handy. Usually whole foods vitamin C supplements are getting vitamin C that's been derived from camu berry or acerola cherry. And so I really like these whole food vitamin C complexes like the ones from Health Force, for example. But anyone that's going to be derived from camu or acerola cherry and doesn't contain ascorbic acid is usually great. But vitamin C is so important for adrenal health, lowering stress on the body, and our body tends to burn through vitamin C much quicker when we have hormonal imbalances or are under tremendous stress. And a lot of people, I know what you're wondering, what about Ovocitol? Ovocitol is such a popular PCOS supplement and a lot of people want to know my opinion on it. So I recorded a whole other video all about Ovocitol and my thoughts on Ovocitol, which is going to be the next video in the series, so make sure you stay tuned for that. But this video was really about, I think, baseline needs in regards to supplementation. What nutrients are important to make sure we're getting day in and day out. And that's going to be, minerals like we talked about, B vitamins like we talked about from liver. We can also get them from things like bee pollen and grass-fed beef and other, high-quality meats. Getting those fat-soluble vitamins in that we maybe aren't getting in an abundance in our diet, like vitamin K2 and vitamin E. And then making sure we're providing our body with plenty of that whole foods vitamin C, which also provides our body with really great bioavailable copper as well. And so, laying the foundation and helping our bodies balance out is so much more important than asking ourselves, what supplement is good for XYZ problem? We want to be asking ourselves and going back to that question of why is our body imbalanced in the first place? And how can we help our cells use sugar better? How can we help our cells make hormones and respond to hormones better? How can we help our bodies detoxify better so that our bodies are given the raw materials to do what they're made to do? In my online course, Fully Nourished, this is really what I teach you. In every single lesson, in every single module, I help you lay the blueprint for using nutrition to really restore your metabolism and balance your hormones. Because if we want to balance our hormones long term, it's not going to be a quick fix, and it's not going to be something that we can do and then forget about because they will become imbalanced again. We need to learn to eat in a way and nourish ourselves in such a way that provides our body the raw materials it needs on a day-to-day basis so it can respond to the stressors that life brings and just stressors in general, and respond to the world in a better way. And this will usually result in us feeling better, having more energy, having better moods, sleeping better, ovulating better so we can make progesterone, detoxifying better, having better digestion, having better temperatures and better pulses. The list goes on. And so remember, we always want to ask ourselves the right question, which is why are things imbalanced in the first place, and not how do I fix XYZ. I'll see you in the next video where we're going to talk all about Ovocitol. Thanks for joining me.